Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of GIS Answers. Today what we'll be looking at is Alert Bay, BC, Canada, so British Columbia, Canada, and this is an island just off of Vancouver Island, and what we have in the red crosses are sightings, and we've got the world imagery as a backdrop, satellite imagery behind. For reference, here's Seattle in the United States, and obviously north is Canada. And this island is Vancouver Island, and quite a hotspot for Bigfoot sightings in Canada, believed to be some of the best habitat for Sasquatch to live. Very wooded, lots of vegetation, potentially lots of food to eat, and the climate and the water to sustain a Bigfoot. Alert Bay is right in here. And what I'm going to show is a video from CTV News, and the local residents here have had some sightings as well as some audio of what they think is a Sasquatch.
A community off northern Vancouver Island is at the center of an eerie mystery. People in Alert Bay say they've been hearing strange screams and howls from the forest at night. And the legend of the Sasquatch runs deep in their First Nations culture. As CTV's Gord Kurbis reports, some are now wondering if those legends are real.
It's an eerie recording captured on a cell phone of something that's making strange howling noises heard throughout Alert Bay.
We heard it once, and I didn't get the recording. And then second time, I got the recording. And that's when I was on the back porch. Very eerie.
The audio was recorded just recently on the backside of Cormorant Island. It's been heard by many all over the island.
So flipping back to the map, Cormorant Island and Alert Bay would be the town or the village. Let's have a look at this. This island, approximately 2.5 miles long, not very wide, only a mile wide at the most. So it's not a very big island. The ocean, this channel, only, less than 2 miles on either side. If the residents are hearing, let's have a look at this. There's another larger island to the north, which is 14 miles long. But then you have Vancouver Island on the other side. So audio, vocalizations would travel. If they're that loud, they could potentially travel across water quite easily on a calm day or a calm night. You could see how those vocalizations could travel many miles. So perhaps the audio, the sounds were coming from Vancouver Island, possibly, or maybe there is actually a Bigfoot on Cormorant Island in Alert Bay. So it's really, really wooded between the town and the ocean. So it would be quite wooded. Just a small village, really, but there is an airport, a small airport. They've got quite an infrastructure here: community health care, schools, churches, a harbor. So it sounds like a really, really nice place. And let's go back and finish off the video.
I've heard it 3 times. I've heard it scream 3 times. But it's been coming here for years.
Whatever's been making the noise is heard primarily at night. Some say it's a dog, but others say that's impossible.
With that volume, absolutely nothing. No dog can make that kind of a noise with that volume.
Art Dick hears the vocalizations just outside of his home. He's convinced the calls are from a Sasquatch. He believes the creature is real because of several previous encounters, like several years ago on a remote island further south when a tree was thrown at himself and fellow clam diggers.
Pulled the tree right out of the ground. The branches were still on it. I don't know anything that can just literally pull a tree with roots and all. I mean, you see that little alder growing out there. You try to go and pull it out, you're not going to be able to do it.
So there you have it. Yeah, so there's a few sightings in the database, the BFRO database, probably like 40 miles away from each. Let's just have a look at them. 1992, memory told of an inquisitive Sasquatch sighted near Port Hardy. March 2013, seasoned outdoors couple hear possible vocalizations while gathering firewood. And then further south, lots of sightings down in the southern part of Vancouver Island, down by Nanaimo. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thanks a lot. Bye. Hey everyone, just a quick video today on a sighting from a viewer. He says, I had a sighting at Dillon State Park outside Zanesville, Ohio. I took a brief walk to the lake. It was February of 2022 when I heard a howl, or a sound I had never heard before. It drew my attention to the woods when I had seen a large creature covered in black fur near the lake. It froze and stood up still, and when I walked toward it, it howled again at me, but louder this time. Then it and a juvenile casually walked into the woods. Says that he reported it to the BFRO and contacted Southeast Ohio Bigfoot Research Society. It was incredible and life-changing. Thanks for sharing that. That's amazing. So let's have a look at this Dillon State Park and the lake just outside Zanesville, Ohio. There's Zanesville, Ohio, and just north of that, to the northwest, is Dillon Lake. You can see how wooded it is around the lake. Pretty cool. Let's see how wide this lake is. Doesn't look to be very wide. So no, not even a third of a mile wide. Dillon Lake. Looks like a campground here on the lake. So I'm going to use these coordinates and see how, if there was a Bigfoot, how a Bigfoot could easily move throughout some of these roads. It could move past a subdivision here along this watercourse, and it's Dillon State Park. Yeah, so look at that watercourse, that river winding its way through between the roads and the settlements. Quite awesome, and like really, it could go on for miles, and it does. And there's a railway line that traverses along, as well as a highway along the river. Quite cool, really awesome. So totally possible, and what a sighting. So let's have a look. I've taken these coordinates and I've put them into Google Street View. Unfortunately, there isn't any Street View in this area close enough to the lake to have a look at the lake. But I did find this photograph at the campground. I don't know if the viewer was at the campground, but you get a good perspective on look how wooded the other side is and adjacent to the campground. Potentially, possibly he was here, maybe not, but it gives you some kind of idea of where he was. And let's see if there's any other photos in this area. Here's one here. Oh, here's a trail, a wooded trail. Very nice, beautiful. You can see how dense the vegetation is. Pretty awesome. And let's have a look at some of these roads. I'll just show you that, yeah, there's not much in the way of. Let's have a look. Look at the edge of this road, this Highway 146. You'd think that you might be able to get a view of the lake. Let's get an idea of the driving conditions along the lake. But boy, look how wooded that is. You don't even get a view of the lake. You don't see that watercourse or the lake next to the road because of how dense the forest is. Pretty awesome. So there you have it. There's a good sighting in Ohio, and thanks to the viewer for sharing that. I appreciate it. See you all again soon. Hey everyone, welcome to GIS Bigfoot Answers. Today we're looking at the GIS Bigfoot Answers Encounters GIS map, and we'll be looking at a sighting in Florida. And this is the map. You can zoom in and zoom out, and you can have a look at some of the encounters by clicking on them. And so we're going to be looking at Florida. And this is one of the best sightings, one of the best encounters, one of the best reports that I've ever come across, to tell you the truth. And it was submitted by a patron. And again, that's how you submit your encounters. You sign up for the Patreon page, and then you have access to this application. You can enter in your encounters. So here we go. And this encounter takes place in the Everglades, and the closest location, the closest town is Hialeah Gardens, Florida. It's a visual sighting, January 10th, 1979. So it's way back, and this is reported by a patron who saw this account in the newspaper. So there's a report that a motorist hit a skunk ape on the highway, Highway 27. The driver says it was shortly after midnight, and the creature jumped out on the highway. He hit it with his car, and he said at first he thought it was a naked man with black fur. He hit it on the leg with his right fender. It didn't make a sound. It was hairy, 7 to 8 feet tall, so it's not a man. The driver stopped to call police. 3 hours later, a separate motorist called to say they saw a 7 to 8 foot creature limping on the highway, and the highway is US 27. This is 7 miles south of the first incident. Completely separate motorists, didn't know each other, not related, completely unattached at all. So there was an officer on scene. He saw a shadowy, dark thing crashing into the woods. It looked like a man about 8 feet tall. A police helicopter search turned up nothing, only a trampled area of brush. So here you go. You've got 3 separate witnesses. One of them is a police officer. They're not related. Everything seems to tie into a Bigfoot or a skunk ape, as they call it, in Florida. So the description was a naked man with fur, and all of the witnesses say 7 to 8 feet tall. And they say a dark, black man with hair. Wow. So let's have a look to see where exactly this is. Highway 27. So we got Coral Springs, Weston, Fort Lauderdale, and Hollywood, Florida. So between that and Bean City, or Belgrade, Highway 27. Let's have a look at the satellite imagery. Pretty swampy. Not much there, is there? Obviously. There is, just at the edge of the Everglades, you have a lot of farming. There should be lots of water and potentially, maybe lots of fruit and vegetables to eat. And who knows what's in the Everglades? Who knows? Maybe if you want to post down below, what would a Sasquatch eat in the Everglades? What would they get to eat there? So let's have a flip over to Google Street View. And this is the Highway 27, or Florida 27. Really, really flat, obviously. You don't see much in the way of woodlands or vegetation, or at least high vegetation. The vegetation is low to the ground, quite low. But dense no matter what. Swampland. There you have it, one of the best encounters I've come across. 3 witnesses, unrelated to each other. The first guy hits something in the road on the highway, loses sight of it, calls the cops. Then there's another sighting 7 miles south by another witness saying that they see an 8-foot creature limping on the highway. And then the cops show up and the officer sees a creature 8 feet tall running off into the woods. So really, I mean, this is like one of the best sighting reports, and I really appreciate the person who submitted this report to us. It's really fascinating, and thank you so much. If other people have their encounters and they want to report them, You can sign up for the Patreon page and report them there, or you can post down below in the messages down below, and perhaps we might take a look at your encounter. Thanks for all the feedback on the YouTube channel. It's been really, really great. People have left some really kind comments, and I appreciate that. And we're now over 1,000 subscribers, so I appreciate all your support. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye. Hey everybody, hopefully you're all doing well out there today. Welcome to another episode of GIS Bigfoot Answers. So we're looking at the Bigfoot map, and the sightings and the encounters are shown in the red dots. And the map is filling up with encounters that have been submitted by the patrons, and I appreciate everybody's input. And you can always post down below some of your encounters or send them to me, and there'll be a link provided in the description. So this is the map. You can scroll in and scroll out. Obviously, most of the sightings, if not all of them, are in North America. There's quite a few in Canada. Let's get stuck into this. Just to have a quick look at this encounter summary. So we've got 26 so far. You can see how it's broken down by the state or the province. And out in the lead, we've got Ontario, but British Columbia is close behind. Pennsylvania and Utah and California's got 3. I just have to change the spelling on one of those to make sure they're together. So anyway, 26 encounters. Thanks a lot, everybody. And today what we're going to be looking at is one in Louisiana. It's just off Highway 167. And the closest location is Louisiana, Louisiana. And it's a visual sighting. Reports of a squirrel hunter who says he wounded a Bigfoot creature. The hunter claims to have wounded a 6-foot-tall, 2-legged, hairy creature, which left a trail of blood. The sheriff's department investigated, but says they are only rumors. Similar other rumors have been heard in the area. Not a lot of evidence here, but let's have a look and see what the environment's like. And what was the date on that one? That was 1977. So wooded. Interesting to see this pattern here. Very unique looking forest is there. Straight paths throughout the forest. And the forest has been broken up into squares. Pretty cool. You can see how there's been tree planting here. You can see the trees have been planted in straight lines. So reforestation in some parts here. So we've got different roads, back roads heading into the woods. So it's just off the highway. So what I wanted to show today is a 3D map and showing the Bigfoot sightings from the Patreon page. And you can zoom in and see things in 3D. This is one that we looked at just recently in Utah. And if you recall, you look at that video, you'll see that there is a photograph of the lake, and it kind of looks like what we're looking at. You know, there's vegetation and then there's bare earth. And if you look at that video, it kind of does look quite similar to what we're looking at there. So let's have a look and zoom back out, and we'll go to that sighting in Louisiana. Closest town is Louisiana. It's going to be quite flat here, so it's not as dramatic as the hills in Utah. can control daylight, amount of sunlight. You can control the weather, rainfall, snowfall. Doesn't snow in Louisiana though, does it? I guess it does. I can make it snow in Louisiana, and I can make it snow faster and heavier. But anyway, I just wanted to show this. Quite a neat feature that we've got. I'm sure it has lots of rain in Louisiana. Okay, so let's have a look at this location in Google Street View. So it's just north of Alexandria. Louisiana is the closest town, just off Highway 167. And you can see there's a swamp there, quite swampy. Wooded right at the edge of the road. I mean, there's not a lot of space between the road and the woods. So a hunter hunting back one of these back roads, squirrel hunting, because he shot a Bigfoot, and Bigfoot left some blood behind. So anyway, that is what I wanted to show today. And please subscribe to the channel and like the video, and please join our Patreon page. We're close to having memberships enabled on this channel, YouTube memberships. So that'll be another way that you can help support the channel. So thanks everybody for watching, and I appreciate your support. Hey everyone, hopefully you're all doing well out there today. Today we'll be looking at a sighting in British Columbia from 1977. It's a really good one. One that I thought was quite unique. It's different from some of the other sightings. So get your favorite cup of tea or a cup of coffee or a beer, and we'll have a look at this sighting. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there today. So this sighting is in BC, as I said, in British Columbia, Canada, and it's located in the Fraser Valley, which isn't really that far from Vancouver. You think of, here's Vancouver, the city, and let's see how far that is from Vancouver. 50 miles. But you're getting into the Rocky Mountains, so it's just by Chilliwack, BC. And what we're looking at is the GIS Bigfoot Answers map. And this sighting was reported by a Patreon member. And when you become a member of either the Patreon channel or the YouTube channel, you get access to plot your sighting on a map. But this was a sighting that was reported in several newspapers. The member put this information in, and I really enjoyed receiving this report. It's very interesting. So let's zoom in. And on this map, you can change the background. Right now, we have the topographic map background, but you can change it to imagery. So you have satellite imagery. The red dots represent the sightings. You have streets at night, which is a black background with the roads as blue. So we'll switch back to the topographic map. And the occurrence happened on Highway 7 near Rock Lake. There's the lake and there's the highway. 1977, May 17th. It was reported in several newspapers. Bus passengers see a furry, upright creature over 300 pounds, dark brown or black, and about 7 feet tall lumber across the highway. Pacific Stage Line's bus company driver was the main witness, along with other passengers. This was reported to the RCMP police, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The bus driver slammed on the brakes and he stopped. He smelled something like terrible rotten meat. The brush was thick and pushed apart where the animal went through. It had flared nostrils like a monkey and big wide eyes. It had a wide chest as it looked at the bus driver. The skin underneath the hair looked white. Police say passenger statements match the bus driver's, and they are taking the issue seriously. Police located footprints 14 inches long by 8 inches wide on a sandy creek bottom nearby. The account was reported in several newspapers. So assuming, maybe it happened down here. So you got the Canadian Pacific Railroad as well as the main highway, and let's just have a measure to see how far the lake would have been. So yeah, 200 feet away. And it doesn't look like there's anything to the west, maybe mountains. So you got mountains, the highway, the railway, and then the lake, and maybe some small residential subdivision on the lake. Quite mountainous over here, Harrison Hill. So it looks like the start of the Rocky Mountains. All right, let's have a look at this in Google Maps. So we're looking at this in Google Maps. We'll look at Google Street View. Fraser Valley, Rock Lake. Beautiful. Oh, look at the mountains. Very nice. Yeah, you could easily see how you see a squatch zipping in front of the bus and into the woods. But they did get enough time to have a look at this animal, or creature, or whatever you want to call it. Over 7 feet tall, over 300 pounds, dark brown to black, big nostrils and big dark eyes. Opens up to Harrison Bay and Harrison River. Oh, look at this. Sasquatch Inn. What's that all about? Let's have a look at this Sasquatch Inn. It's a 2-star motel. Good rating, though. Almost 1,500 ratings, and it's got a 4.3 out of 5. Sasquatch Inn, just north of the sighting. Maybe it has something to do with the sighting. Very interesting. Oh, it's got 659 photos. We won't have a look at all of those, but oh, look, quite nice. Oh, wow. Very nice. Nice patio. Oh, look at the front. It's like a small Great Wolf Lodge. Oh, look, Sasquatch Inn. The footprint, and established in 1936. So this was 40 years before. Oh, look, 40 years before the sighting. This is only up the road. This is just up the road from where the sighting took place. Sasquatch Inn, they've got vacancies. But look at that. Look at that logo and that sign. Looks really cool. Another Sasquatch there. Looks like some good food there. Some good sandwiches. A beer, nice beer, yeah. I could always go for one of those. Some native art. That's the Sasquatch Inn. Let's go back. Let's go back and see if there's any other sightings in and around this area. We're just having a quick look at the BFRO map, so bfro.net. So the sighting we're looking at today from 1977, Erock Lake, or Erock Lake, is one just up the road, same highway. Newspaper article, Fresno Bee, University of California students plan expedition to BC. Okay. And further up the highway again, October 2004, couple hears back and forth vocalizations between 5 and 6 a.m. where the Harrison and the Chehalis rivers join. So that's not far away. And these are just reports to the BFRO. And there's another one, November 2003, unusual call, silenced the coyotes and frightened the dog. Yeah, so a lot of reports haven't been provided to the BFRO in Canada. There's very few. I wouldn't say very few, but there's definitely less reports. Possible knocking heard by hikers in the Chilliwack Valley. That's March 2006. June 2008, campers describe possible vocalizations and a possible track in Chilliwack Lake Provincial Park. Well, there you have it, guys. That's a pretty interesting sighting, and it was reported to the RCMP, the Canadian Police, and it was reported in several newspapers. So pretty exciting stuff. Hopefully you're having a good day out there today, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.